Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. We get ready for the annual reenactment of the Canboulay Riots that take place on Carnival Friday morning every year at the Piccadilly Greens. This morning, I want to welcome Director of the Ida Group, Attila Springer, and consultant Lennox Toussaint, who was here just last week. Welcome back.
You understand?
I feel like we better get a room here or something. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's Carnival week, so there's not a lot of sleep going on, and it's
I love
a
that
time
have
of
the same challenge at Carnival time.
yeah. But when Alman Warren said something to me a few years ago, he said, "If you can't sleep, eat." So eating is really important. So so maintaining a good eating habit is
key.
Is key.
All right, so we're getting ready for the reenactment. It takes place, every Carnival Friday, people get up early, or some people don't sleep at all, and they make their way down to the Piccadilly Greens to be able to be a part of it. What inspires you to keep going every year, to keep doing it every year?
What inspires? So for Ida Group, this is the 20th year that we are performing this production, which was written by N2 Springer, our matriarch. For the past 20 years, what has happened is that Canboulay has become more than just that moment on Carnival Friday morning. Canboulay for us has become a movement. And within that movement has been working with young people specifically. Our rehearsal process starts usually in December.
Right.
And a huge part of the rehearsal process is just sitting down talking with these young people about why we are doing this production, talking about the conditions that existed in the society in the 1880s, talking about emancipation. Many times the people don't know the date of emancipation. Talking about the connection between the Juve and the emancipation, talking about African spirituality, talking about all the different things that led to the riot, that created the conditions for the riot to happen, and not just that, not just looking at 1881, but 1884. There was also a confrontation that happened in San Fernando, where a boy was actually killed. In 1891, there was also a confrontation in Aruca. So talking about the history of our society through the lens of this movement that happened on February the 18th, 1881. So for us, when we get to Piccadilly Greens on the Friday morning, it's it's been months of preparation, months of thinking and feeling and ritual and, all of those things. We cry in rehearsals, we laugh, people's heads get bust, there's a lot of stuff that goes. And it's also about learning the practices. So it's about learning the calendar and learning the baby doll, learning the Pierrot, learning why all of those characters are so important to the space.
And this is where I want to bring in Mr. Toussaint, because I really want to know, why is it that you consider it so important that we need to make sure that we preserve it, that we continue to uphold it?
We are not the very best people for educating our children about our history. So we use this opportunity to really pull this one together. And it's a marvel to me, when you walk up Prince Street at 3:45 in the morning. This is Prince Street. This is Port of Spain. This is the much feared area. You see all ages. You see all complexions. I distinctly remember a few years ago walking up Prince Street and seeing this person coming down hurriedly in a short pants and wondering, well, it was Martin Daly. I said, Martin, where are you going? See, I forget something in the car, so I'm going to take it out. There's this feeling about it that history is being written and rewritten. And particularly, I'm particularly concerned about the young people because they want to know more and more about this, and we have the responsibility to feed them more and more about this. For the NCC, it's also a thank you point. We thank people like Pearl. And then we have people who have left us, like Novon Fullerton, and we need to, Tony Hall,
John Cupid.
John Cupid. Contributors, serious contributors. So we relive the presence of those people, the contribution of those people, because they didn't get the flowers then.
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility to give them the flowers now.
Do you think the carnival still holds all these rituals and this aspect of it? Is it still informed by this? By this history? Is the carnival that we see today still informed by this history?
Can I answer that?
No, that's why I didn't ask you. I know you want to answer that question. That's why I asked Mr. Tuesday, the consultant here.
I am tempted to say yes.
You're tempted to say yes?
Yes. Is it enough? No, we could do a little bit more.
Okay.
You know, because I think the thrill in it is like I was talking with Tony Fraser. When you look around that Piccadilly Greens on Friday morning and you see the ages, you see the complexion, you see this is Trinidad and Tobago.
I hear you. Tell her, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I want to say a few things. One, I want to say that, you know, our received knowledge about Carnival is that it came from the French.
Right.
Thankfully, we have the scholarship of the great Professor Liverpool, who I'm so pleased is now one of my teachers, because I joined the master's program at UTT. But his book, Rituals of Power and Rebellion, is what this play is based on, because he was one of the first people who said, wait now, okay, you're saying yes, okay, the French, in terms of where the carnival takes place in the calendar, that's as far as the French influence goes. Okay. And perhaps we also see the French influence in terms of the governor's ball elements of the carnival.
Which we have plenty of now.
Well, right.
I like it. Right. All right. Go ahead.
We don't need to talk about that. What I want to talk about is the Canboulay elements.
Right.
The Canboulay elements are those elements of African retention, which we do not identify as elements of African retention. We feel that, you know, the Moko Jambi just arrived here by VAPS. We feel that the Pierrot just emerged. Yeah. We do not see the connection to Africa. And this is one of the things that Professor Liverpool stresses in his book, Rituals of Power and Rebellion. And it's also one of the things that we stress in Canboulay, which is that there's a strong African presence in the carnival. And we want to connect to the history of East Port of Spain, which is the history of successive generations of African peoples coming. You know, the whole question, I mean, the last time I was here, which was to talk about an ancestral veneration workshop, I was talking about the fact that many Yoruba people came into the society as indentured laborers. Yeah. And so you had a re-strengthening of the African spiritual context. And so, you know, when you come to Canboulay on the Friday morning, you see those elements of the spirituality being represented, you know, and so part of the work is to make sure that the education is done and continues. And what we've been trying to do is find ways to continue that education.
And I think the Canboulay, the reenactment is definitely one of those ways. Just before we wrap, quickly, just remind them what time it starts.
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
No, if you reach 4 a.m., you're late. You're late. Yeah. I mean, you know, we have people who are there from midnight when we are there for our call time.
Nice.
And one of the nice things that we're doing this year is we're doing an arts intensive carnival arts, and not talking but talking. And I just want to big up some of the members of this carnival arts intensive course that we've been doing over the past 6 weeks with the support of the East Port of Spain Development Company. And one of the things that some of these students are going to be doing is welcoming people to their community with breakfast in different locations. So
lovely.
Look out on our socials.
Come back and talk about all the other things that we're doing, right?
Oh gosh, plenty things.
When the thing calm down a little bit, you come back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a quick break and coming back with more on the Now Morning Show. But Canboulay is on this Friday. You don't want to miss it.
I think one important thing is that the Canboulay is actually the start of the carnival. When you take off Friday morning, there's no stopping. You just keep going up the Tuesday night.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Toussaint. Thank you so much, Attila, for joining us. Only we come back now.
You all get plundered, the children gonna sunder. Lord, hold on to the ritual and please don't let go. Why you be behaving